Oh,
Oh wait. Oh,
Oh,
never mind.
oh, there it is.
literally the moment you say, "Oh wait," there's a pop-up saying you're now live. Congratulations!
Oh no.
Oh god. Okay, so hello, welcome to Axis and Allies, the gaming podcast. Three people talking about video games each week. My name is señor, and well, the other guys are Phil and Swilly. If you don't know them, check out the boards or MP3s or whatever. Do your homework. There will be
Yeah, do
tests.
your homework.
So well, as you might know, we talk about video games each week, and let's start by talking about actually, yes, video games. So as you may know, last week there was GDC, and while everyone, including me, was waiting for an announcement for Half-Life 3, all we got was Steam VR. Can you sense the hype? Literally hype, man. Literally.
I mean, it's a cool idea, but like, I really want it to. I'm just gonna need some time. Like, I'm feeling the same way about the Steam Machine stuff. Like, I feel like they're interesting ideas, and there might be a good application for it, but I just don't know. Like, is it gonna be something I'm gonna run out and buy? I don't really think so. I think I'm gonna wait a while if I really want to.
My opinion about what Valve is doing is well known. If you've seen my previous one where I ranted about how they're a software company, not a video game company, and that we will never get Half-Life 3.
Diversify, man. They want to move away from developing video games and thus become just an.
Oh, they still want to develop video games, but only if they can get more money out of it. So they can do more things to revolutionize PC gaming.
They
by
stopped
repeating
developing.
the same process that everyone else is doing.
They stopped developing video games. All they're doing right now is just allowing more and more heads onto the Dota 2 store, and they just cash in on that.
They are working on. They are working on Left 4 Dead 3 right now. That was leaked. What was it? Was that 2013? I think. But anyway, yeah, when Source 2 information started coming out. But yeah, they're not really they're not openly developing anything. We know they're developing stuff, but we don't really know what. We do know Left 4 Dead 3 is coming along, but now it's pushing on like 2 or 3 years. It's been in development, so it kind of stinks. Like, I think.
That's definitely what we want. We want another Left 4 Dead.
Yes,
Yeah,
That is what gamers have been asking for since 2004.
I mean, I know that it's kind of hard for Valve. They kind of struggle with like making things after 2. They kind of split and branch and winnow, but like at the same time, I really like Left 4 Dead 2. And Left 4 Dead 2 on Source, but 3 instead of 2 would be pretty cool. But they're probably gonna call it something dumb like Left 4 Dead 2.5 Episode 4. So I'm like, okay, but Valve, just please release it on Source 2 already.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, Dota 2 should have transformed to like Dota 2 using the new Source engine, and well, that didn't happen. So, I mean, the good thing about Steam VR or their virtual reality headset, goggles, or whatever you want to call them, is that they're not the ones developing it. HTC is developing that, so Valve can't mess that up. Well, they can mess that up slightly, but not as much as if they were only developing that alone. I think that competition for virtual reality goggles, I guess that's how you call them, is good, because if we only have the Facebook virtual reality, then, well, we don't have competition, and competition is always good for the consumer. I hope that when we get those devices, that we'll have software that is compatible to those devices, and you don't end up buying a game that says, oh, well, we only support the Oculus Rift and we don't support the HTC Vive, I think it's called, and oh, it's good. So,
and then there's the PlayStation Morpheus, which is going to work with PC as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. What's PlayStation Morpheus again?
It's their VR, but they're making it for the PS4, but they're also saying you can use it on the PC as well.
Okay, that's interesting. That kind of reminds me of how they did the iToy and the PlayStation Eye, which is that it wasn't, you couldn't natively plug it into your computer, but you could get the drivers for it and plug it in. And I mean, the PlayStation Eye, if you got the drivers for it that were custom made off the internet, it was a pretty nice webcam quality. It was pretty nice for what it was. So that's cool, but at the same time, like, I don't really know if there's anything that VR can give me. Like, it's the same thing with the Steam controllers. Like, I know mouse and keyboard can work really well.
Controllers, if they were like that weird, quirky design from before. but from all the design and everything we've heard, it's a freaking 360 clone.
It's worse than that, because like it wants to do that mouse thing with the little bit of the D-pad, and it has like the 4 buttons like a PlayStation and Xbox and the flappers and all that, but it's like it's so over-engineered. I don't know where my fingers and thumbs are supposed to go on it. I don't even know if I can get the assurance that it's going to have the same kind of precision that a mouse would, because I'm pretty sure it's not going to be. And then at the end of the day, even the early versions that people have used have said, like, yeah, this thing's nice, but it's just not going to be what a mouse and keyboard is if you want to do something like play Dota. So I'm like, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking this is kind of a cool idea, but you over-engineered it, and also I could just use an Xbox if I want to use this for action-adventure stuff anyway. I feel like the only thing it's really going to come in handy for is if I want to play strategy games that are turn-based on my TV, like XCOM or especially Civilization. That would be really cool, and I would actually get Steam Link and a Steam Machine just for something like that. But the Steam controller itself, I'd rather just get an Xbox 360 one.
I'd love to try them. I got to try the Sony Morpheus at Gamescom last year, and so far I got to say I had 2 options: either wait in a queue for about 5 or 6 hours to try the Oculus Rift for 10 or 15 minutes, or wait in a queue for about half an hour and try the Sony Morpheus for about 10 or 15 minutes. And I gotta be honest, like I wasn't that impressed about the Sony Morpheus. I could see what they were trying to do with it, and it was working to some degree, but I still would have loved to try the Oculus Rift just to like compare it to the way the Sony Morpheus worked. In the end, I think it really comes down to what does a consumer gain from this? Or how can I put this to use? If you look at the Wii U, if you look at like the tablet controller, not too many games are supporting that because, well, what do you gain from that? Well, not so many games support that at the moment, so probably you don't gain as much as you would from a normal controller. And, well, is it like... I'd also love to try the controller like from Steam, the Steam controller, but I'm very skeptical about that because I only use controllers if I play something like Dark Souls. Everything else, I'll just use my keyboard and mouse. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like it is an interesting idea, and I think Valve is trying to kind of finally solve the problem of how do you make a good controller that works with PC that isn't just a plugged-in Xbox one that can actually like play PC games, native PC games. But at the same time, I feel like it does kind of feel like they're trying to reinvent the wheel over and over again. They're trying to take these ideas and say, like, how can we make it better in a way that's only going to be like minimally better at best? And there's been so many different engineered designs coming through. They have this kind of interesting touchpad system that they've taken out, and now they're doing just kind of like a standard kind of Xbox or PlayStation feel, but instead has the precision kind of trackpad. And it's interesting stuff, but it's just like I'm not really sure if it's going to pay off in the end. I think I might get one anyway just to sample it and try it out. They're going to be out by November anyway, so it's like, why not? It's going to be this year. I'm probably going to be able to get one anyway, so I might as well try it. But I also don't see how I'm going to use it, save for something like a few action-adventure games and a few kind of platformer games and strategy games, and that's probably going to be it. Like, I'm not using that Team Fortress 2 or anything.
Yeah. It's pretty clear who they are targeting with the Steam machines and with the Steam controller. It's like,
and it's going to fail. I don't know why they're targeting. It's going to fail. They don't have the market share. Any console gamer, all they know is Portal 2. That's it. They don't know about Half-Life 2. They don't know about the previous games. They know all of the hits that came from 360, Nintendo, and the Sony. They don't know anything else.
Yeah, I really think what Valve needs to do is it needs to follow in the PlayStation kind of Xbox steps, and that was create different versions of a console but make it just the same console. And so, I mean, of course, that kind of hurts the ability to have kind of the plurality that the PC gaming world has, but if they want to break in that casual market, they need to take away the ability to have choices. It's like the Apple kind of philosophy. You only have one standard from Apple. That's it, but that's what you get, and it's pretty nice for what it is anyway. Because that's what people want. That's what PlayStation, Xbox users want. They want something that's solid and a standard, and you can plug it in and use it, and it's the same as your friends down the road. Whereas compared to with Steam machines, there's like 20 different choices. There's everything from like $200 for just streaming something to like over $2,000. There's no clear guide for which one's a good investment or not based on like if you're new to gaming and stuff like that. And also there's still a huge kind of demographic of people that are both console gamers and want to get into PC that go for pre-builts right away because they don't really know how to do upgrades. And it's just like Valve sees all these things, and I think they're just stuck in this kind of hardcore markets kind of look at things, and they don't understand how to tap into the casual market well.
And if you let's imagine like a customer usually buys a PlayStation, or usually buys an Xbox, and he's like, before he bought like a PlayStation 3, and I was like, well, I've heard about these Steam machines, but I was also thinking about getting a PlayStation 4. So, well, look, what can you tell me about these Steam machines? And the answer is like, well, there's about 10, and then you gotta decide like how much you want to pay for it, and the consumer goes like, oh fuck it, I'll just get a PlayStation.
The basic Steam machine is like $100 more than the PS4. So you've already lost. You've already lost.
Well, here's the thing too with the iBuyPower ones, and I think CyberPower too by extension. They're both, you can upgrade and change everything except the GPU. So like, what's the point anyway? Because the graphics processor eventually is going to bottleneck the whole thing.
Upgrading the most.
Yep.
Yeah, you just like the other ones that are more expensive. Sure, you can do, but then you're paying like $800 for basically a neutered computer. So because all you have is Linux, and not every Steam game does Linux, whereas pretty much every Steam game does Windows. So why not just get like a Windows machine or build one yourself? Ask a friend to do it. So it's like they're trying to break into the market, but they're doing this weird kind of odd way where they're not really going to break.
There's a whistling going on behind you, by the way.
Yeah, I know. That's my radiator.
That's a really weird radiator.
It's my college house.
I'm just
right
saying,
now.
I'm just trying to catcall you.
No, I'm fine. I'm in the safety of my own dumb house.
Oh well, but yeah, that's I don't know. That's kind of like Valve's issues. Like who do they want to target with this? They're not going to get the hardcore PC gamer. They're not going to get the hardcore consoleist. And well, who are they going to get then? It might fail, might not fail. I'm curious to see how their SteamOS is going to work out, because I'd like to see some competition to Windows, but we'll see. They certainly have the money and the power to at least try to get a bit of change in the PC market. Right. That about covers the Steam VR. Let's talk about EA. Let's talk about how they just killed off another developer.
Rest in peace, Maxis.
Mismanagement. Yeah, Maxis
was on its way out. It was a merciful
you don't say that. You don't say that. Maxis was good. Maxis was great. I mean, like that always online SimCity stuff. That was awesome. I loved like having that thing crash on me and lose my city like 5 times.
Was that sarcasm?
That definitely was. I fucking hated that thing. It was such a stupid idea. I don't know.
I know some people, I guess, like that. It's just torture me.
My favorite thing is like they're saying, oh, computers are just not advanced enough to manage with the system. A year later, oh, we have SimCity offline mode because all you guys complain so much. It's like, if they were honest to me as a customer and as a consumer that like they did this shit so people wouldn't pirate the game, I could appreciate that. I'd hate it still, but I could respect them for being honest with me. But they make up some bullshit stuff about how our computers can't run their awesome engine when obviously it's already pretty broken, and like the DRM is terrible, and it's like it forgets your cities, people can't connect properly, such awful bottlenecking. Like day one, you couldn't even play the game because so many people were trying it. So it's just like, if they were honest about these things, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, EA stuck their hand too far into what Maxis was doing. I think it puts people off.
I totally forgot about that. Like the one time, I think one of the lead developers just, was like interviewed about, why is there always online DM? Well, there are calculations going on that are so, complex that you can't run this on your local machine. And a few weeks later, you have like this programmer who just made like an emulator for a server, and you could run this on your own machine. No.
And it's like they start banning and trying to remove from torrents. Like, no, your computer is too advanced. Please don't use this Pirate Bay torrent. It's like, come on, please don't lie to me as your consumer. I paid $60 for this thing. Like, I appreciate honesty from you, not like crap to make me feel afraid of pirating your stuff.
I really feel bad for them now that City Skylines has been released, and every review I look at, they're all saying like, wow, this is what SimCity is like to be. Then you some like behind you, there's like the rotten corpse of, slowly rotting corpse of Maxis just going like, we could have developed this, but EA didn't let us.
This could have been us. This could have been the
Yeah.
future.
Everybody's just going on how much they like City Skylines and how much this is like, well, this is a good SimCity, and then, well, yeah. Well done, EA!
Yeah, nice work. I mean, it sucks too. Again, like I did that Let's Play the other day with I did SimCity 2000 Windows 95 and just talked about my experience with Maxis, and like it really was anyway that by the time after the SimCity kind of 4 era, after the Sims 2 kind of era, Maxis had changed so much, and they became so like deep into the corporate kind of mindset of we have to do all these like IKEA expansion pack, The Sims 2, 3, and it's like okay, give me a break. But the Maxis that we grew up with in the 90s and a lot of us played, it really just isn't like it's just kind of gone, and it's not the same now that it was then. Even Will Wright knew like he was not right for SimCity by the time 4 started to happen and 3000 happened. There was kind of a divergence between Maxis and Will Wright. So it is like Maxis died, but it's not really the Maxis we had anyway. So
where did Will Wright go?
He's doing his own thing. He's kind of like dicking around doing all these different projects. So Will Wright, like traditionally, Will Wright's kind of a fellow that like he has all these interesting ideas, but some of them just don't really work that well. But he implements some, and they do well.
Wait. Wait. Are we talking about Will Wright or Peter Molyneux here?
Will Wright.
Oh, okay.
Because Wright's an interesting fellow too, because he's kind of like he has really interesting ideas, and he's pretty good at like figuring out good execution for them. But he's also kind of all over the place. Except unlike Molyneux, and again, both of them are designers that people in the contemporary industry really respect. But Molyneux was really like the kind of person that like had all these different ideas, but some of them got pushed off or design kind of deadlines got mixed up a little bit. But he always took ideas that he had and implemented them for later games. Whereas Wright's like he has a bunch of different ideas, throws them out, and some of them just don't work, and some of them do. And some of the Sim games didn't do that well, and some of them did like incredibly well, like SimCity. So.
My favorite one is 4000, by the way.
4000.
Mm-hmm.
There was a SimCity 4000.
Yes.
What? All I knew was that it was SimCity, SimCity 2000, SimCity 3000, and then the new SimCity.
There is the SimCity 4.
It wasn't 4000, it was 4. You fucking confused me. What the shit? There is no 3 zeros after the 4. It's just SimCity 4. What the fuck?
Wait a minute. Wait, maybe there was like a different localization thing. Let me look this up. SimCity 4000. Okay, SimCity 4000 free cheat codes. I'm pretty sure that's not what I want.
Cheat codes.
Nah.
Did I screw this up?
Maybe, or maybe it is actually called SimCity 4000 in some places. I don't know. Let me Google in quotes, because that always fixes all my problems.
Oh, it actually looks like I think this might be my bad. I think it was actually, yeah. No, sorry, that's my bad. I screwed up pretty hard. I screwed up pretty hard. Yeah, it was SimCity 3000 that I did up.
Oh, SimCity 3000. Yeah, that was actually.
So long ago.
It's interesting too, because like.
Boyle, you better apologize, or I'm gonna make you go sleep with the horses.
I apologize to you and the listeners for wasting your time. You may now continue, Phil.
Okay.
Yes, okay. What was I going to say? Oh, 3000 is interesting too, because 3000 was when EA kind of started really putting their hand into development for SimCity games. If I recall correctly, it was 2000 was Maxis, 3000 EA mostly did developing, and I think 4 was mostly Maxis again. And then it kind of switched to the point where SimCity 2013 was basically like Maxis, but EA was the one developing it de facto, or pushing all these different features in. So it's kind of interesting, the development cycle for the SimCity games.
And then we all know how this ended.
All of us downloading
It had interesting ideas. I just don't feel like 2013 really pushed enough where it needed to go.
Yeah, it was like junk food SimCity. Like, hey, I can build my city. It looks nice. Here it grows. If I don't totally fuck it up, I can have a balanced budget, and that was kind of it.
The one thing that I love is Cities XL got a lot of crap for it, but holy, if you get into it and you really start building a city, Jesus Christ, the detail.
Yeah.
Like, any minor mistake can really screw you over. It is Dwarf Fortress, but SimCity.
That's
I want to be Shaq News for a second.
I forgot City Skyline did well too. I completely forgot. I missed that on my map of good video games to look at compared to the regular bad versions that I do. But yeah, I ought to check out City Skyline. Tropico 2 is kind of an interesting game that kind of hits a nice city building kind of.
That one with the pirates.
That's the one with the Banana Republic.
Okay.
Wait.
Tropico.
Yeah, well, yeah, but isn't like the second game like about pirates?
Yeah, it was. They did. I think the first one they did the Banana Republic, and the second one they were like, okay, now we're doing pirates, and then they went back to Banana Republic.
Why? Because pirates.
They talked to marketing. They're like, how can we boost the sales? Let's make it pirates.
What's hit with the kids these days? I don't know, pirates. Let's do a pirate game.
Okay, we can do pirates, zombies, or ninjas. Which one is going to work best? I want to go with pirates. Okay, good. We'll make some money. And then they did it.
The next Tropico game is going to be about pirates, zombie, ninjas. You heard it here first. Thank you.
Official reveal from GDC right over here.
Oh, God.
Can we please not bring up GDC? That was
I brought it up, so we're going to have to talk about it now.
Alright, let me go get my alligator costume.
No, we don't have to talk about GDC that much. Any big gaming news anyway was mostly was like the Valve stuff, really. I think maybe
yeah, that wasn't much on GDC. If I recall correctly, there wasn't really that much on GDC.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, but we did talk about Unreal Engine and Source 2 being free.
That's right. That's officially released now, and Unreal 4 2 is free to develop with, if I recall.
Yeah, the deal with Unreal 4's engine is that if you hit a specific threshold, they start taking royalties from it. If you don't, then you're fine. Source 2, I believe, is free completely, but you've got locked code.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's still good though, because it really does let a lot of kind of a lot of developers that are kind of like bedroom devs or like have their experience solely through undergraduate programs and stuff.
Hey,
really
Gary.
Work. Yeah.
Gary. Gmod 2. Let's do it. Come on. You know you want to. Please.
Gary, you've got the opportunity.
Give us a new one.
You've got the free code, you've got the audience, you've got no time that you're wasting on all this free time. Go ahead, make Gary's Mod 2.
Sitting in your goddamn chair.
JK, Rust 2's in the making.
Rust 2, Source 2 of Unreal Engine 4 coded in as well. Boom, together. Everything's free. The missing code was filled with Unreal Engine 4. I know how programming works. I'm not just a critic.
I really want a Gary's Mod 2, because... No, they just released an update for Gary's Mod, and it completely broke everything.
They're getting ready for Gary's Mod 2. They're breaking everything, so you have to buy the new game. That's
but
how
you
the
don't
old
understand.
editions work.
They broke everything, and now I'm left with the roleplay server community. They can't do shit.
Because it's all errors?
No, because we're waiting for Clockwork to fix. The update broke Clockwork, which is like one of those scripts that is necessary.
Yeah. Oh man, this. I'm just thinking like all the scripts broken except the one for Trouble in Terrorist Town. So you have all these 12-year-olds that have no idea what's going on. Everyone else can't play Gary's Mod.
Trouble in Terrorist Town. We need to do that one time while playing.
We do.
We're getting off topic.
Well, yeah, we are.
Slightly. Yeah, but we can talk about... Well, we talked about engines. I think the only
Did they ever release any feature lists for the engines? I know Unreal 4 is like, oh, it's realistic.
All engines are very realistic.
Unrealistic.
With emotions, approved by David Cage.
Contemporary engines are actually people, not just regular coding. It's getting really advanced now. You talk to your code.
The day that becomes truth is the day I shit myself.
Yeah, you can just hang out with your dumb code instead of having real friends.
Oh, more because... Can you imagine the porn that would come out of that? And how terrible it would be.
It would put Honey Pop to shame.
All I'm saying is Rule 34 probably already exists. Somewhere in some part of the internet. Some crazy developer made drew pictures of himself on his code. Oh no.
It's like the rubber ducky thing, but instead it's like Source 2 and Unreal Engine 4.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess it's a good time to be a developer. It's like, you want to develop anything? Well, here's the code. Go.
Yeah. It's getting a lot easier too, because especially a lot of contemporary game making software and a lot of games that use them too are both becoming very accessible and extremely easy to use and do well with. Like, if I recall correctly, Hotline Miami was made with Game Maker completely, and now like it actually has
Wow.
and now there's level editing through Game Maker in Hotline Miami. So it's kind of interesting. Like, you can actually make more complex games now through that stuff and have them do really well too, based on your own kind of ability as a designer and a developer. So it's getting intuitive and better fast.
And then, of course, you always have like the programs that you had for years, like RPG Maker, which you can even get on Steam. And as far as I've heard, RPG Maker is not that hard to get into. It's something like easy to learn how to master.
Yeah, it's there's some really good games being made with RPG Maker too, like
To the
Off,
Moon.
I think was To the Moon. Space Funeral Off, I think, was made with RPG Maker too. It just all comes down to being able to supply your own assets, really, and change kind of the initial UI.
Were you going to say anything, Swilly, or shall we move on?
I'm panicking. Hold on.
You need some time to regurgitate the information.
Yes, Matt.
We can try group thinking. I'll try to concentrate my energy and put them into your brain. It's like transmitting.
I'll
Brain
shitpost on Twitter in the meantime.
Okay.
Okay, so all right, I can focus now. When it comes to RPG Maker games, I'm kind of mixed because Off and Space Funeral are fantastic representations of the medium, and I would also throw out there just because I almost died of laughter. I think it's like 5 years old now. The Tales of the Drunken Paladin, although I don't know if that was made with RPG Maker or with another, like, sort of whatever thing that makes RPGs. Either way, there's some fantastic ones out there. And then there's the piles upon piles upon piles upon piles. You can see where I'm going with this.
It's that 10% rule. It's like, what is it? 10% of content in a specific medium or genre is good, and 90% is shit. And that is especially true for RPG Maker. More like 95%, 5%. So, but there is some good RPG Maker stuff. It gets a bad rap because of that 95, 90%. But it sucks too, because like for every good game that's out there, you just know that there's one that's gonna like turn devs away because RPG Maker has such a bad reputation of having like all these 12-year-olds making their dumb Final Fantasy fan fiction in RPG Maker.
I'm watching.
Happens anyway.
I'm watching the trailer for Tales of a Drunken Paladin right now. It's some random NPC approaches you like, "Hey, what's your favorite dinosaur?" And you can like, "Do you like dinosaurs? What's your favorite dinosaur?" And you can choose between your dinosaurs, and the player chooses Tyrannosaurus Rex, and the NPC goes like, "Hey man, that's awesome. That's like the best choice. And here, have this club." And then it says, "You receive a sweet ass dinosaur club." Like what?
Oh man,
Yeah.
I remember too. There's since I watch Red Soup right now and then, there's one that they did. It's not RPG Maker, but it was a ROM hack. Someone took Fire Emblem and then did a Fire Emblem fan fiction, and they edited in the fan fiction. So they edited in. Have you seen this one, Swilly?
No, I know what you're referring to. No.
They edited it so they were the main character, and the love interest in Fire Emblem was a girl they knew in their class.
What?
I gotta
Not creepy at all.
It was so terrible. It's like he's got the skills to do ROM hacks with dialogue. You can make like at least a cool creepy ROM, but instead this guy's doing his dumb fan fiction publishing on the internet. It's like so stupid. He did like a let's play of it too and everything.
Yeah. Fan
So, yeah.
fictions, I guess.
So use your developing powers for good, not evil.
And don't write a book about Twilight that later gets released as 50 Shades of Grey. I'd be grateful if that would never have happened.
That's a good idea too.
Yeah, probably she should have just used RPG Maker instead, then it just would have been some shitty game on the internet.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking like Game Maker, RPG Maker, 50 Shades of Grey. It's like all pixelated, that 2D
No.
retro feel.
Wait, actually, let me look this up. This probably.
Oh man. You can make it in Twine. Like, there you go.
I don't.
Oh god, that's actually a topic where somebody's asking, like, can we do this, guys? Nope. Okay, instantly closing tab. Thank you. Moving on.
Wait, no,
No.
link that to me. Link that to me. I want to torment my house.
We're done. We're done here. Moving on.
Oh, wait, is this live on YouTube?
No.
Oh, good. Okay.
Thank God for that.
It would have been the chat would have been crazy.
Pretty much, yeah. Let's move on and talk about successful first-person shooters like Titanfall and Evolve and how they are losing players.
Oh, these
Titanfall already
they're
lost
awful.
all
Next
its players
topic.
from the PC multiplayer. And Evolve's terrible.
I agree.
Is it?
Well,
I haven't gotten to play it yet.
to some degree, it's terrible.
Okay. You know what? I'm not surprised either. They made some dumb decisions. It sucks too because like these are the people that make Left 4 Dead, and they also did Go. They did Counter-Strike Go. But at the same time, it's like they had a really good kind of design philosophy for Left 4 Dead. Evolve almost seemed like it was a little too complex, and it forced like there's something about it like it forced everyone to do their roles properly to the way the designers intended. And if people veered from it, it felt like things could fall apart easily.
Oh right, I forgot to say that Titanfall also made every map pack that previously you had to buy or purchase made them free. So if you have the game, if you have Titanfall, you now can play any map, which I think is a smart choice because as the developer of Evolve realized, if you release map DLCs, then you're just going to divide your community, and that's something you don't want to do in first-person shooters.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what the situation was before they made this free. For those who bought the DLC and they were like, okay, let's play, let's go on matchmaking, let's play on these maps that I bought access to, and okay, so it's going to take half an hour to find other people who also have bought this DLC. Okay, I'm in. Like that's probably what happened at some point. Not to like to that extreme degree, but to some.
Yeah, it was like it's weird too because like if you have a pretty vibrant audience, you can usually get away with doing the map pack DLC stuff. But it was really pretty clear that Titanfall was getting smaller. They were doing so many of those Origin Let's Play on the House things where it's like you could play it for free for 24 to 48 hours, and like they're just trying to appeal to people. But Titanfall really was kind of like a game of the month kind of thing. Everyone played it for like a month, and then it kind of was slowly declining. So it stinks because
it's a really good game.
It is, yeah. It stinks too, but it's just like just because the DLC thing worked for one specific popular game in that genre, Call of Duty, doesn't mean that you can necessarily do that with your game. Like you need to know your audience, and they could have done really cool niche stuff with their audience, but they just didn't know how to like properly market to it.
Personally, I played a lot of Call of Duty. Couldn't even be bothered to even look at the latest 2 or 3 Call of Duty titles, and I got a few good hours out of Titanfall, and I just kind of stopped playing. Like, okay, I don't have anybody to play this with. I don't really see much point in continuing to play this. If I could play Battlefield and unlock one of the 1,563 unlockables that the game probably has. Oh, just play Titanfall, and I don't know. Titanfall, it was a good game and had good mechanics, but not really that much to have me stick around.
Yeah.
I feel
I don't know.
sad for the developers.
Yeah, it stinks. I know too. There are some developers that can kind of really they can kind of pull really well when they're losing their base and bring it back on their feet. We were talking a little bit about this before we went live with games like Battlefield, Red Orchestra, and stuff like that. I know Tripwire does a really good job because they tend to, whenever there's an issue going on where players declining or maybe not as many people as they wish, they either start to ramp up to more content releases or they do free weekend things, they do double XP kind of things. Like with Red Orchestra, Tripwire literally boosted their player count double by making Rising Storm and publishing that. They took on the development team and they made it something that you had to buy, but it was cheaper and you could even sample Rising Storm without buying the game. Like you could play as a rifleman no matter the campaign, and vice versa with Red Orchestra. So like some companies are really clever of making sure they can bring players back if it's declining, but I just feel like with Titanfall and Evolve, they're not able to draw people back in, and they're making decisions ahead of time that are not really going to help their base grow, but are going to split it further, like with the DLC packs.
Swilly's too busy.
I don't have an opinion because I never really.
You're busy playing another good FPS at the
You're
moment.
playing a video game, aren't you? You're supposed to be talking about video games, not playing them.
Well, excuse me,
This is disgusting.
Sir. Excuse me.
Disgusting.
Let me freaking finish before you all jump over. Jesus. Look,
Aren't your friends?
I've never played Titanfall, and I already said that it's cool, but I just don't have the money to get it, so my opinion really is And I got Red Orchestra 2 when it came out for free that one weekend, and I still have it.
Tell me about it. How'd you like the game? Was it awesome?
I killed way too many people.
I mean, like I did too, but
like I thought I was gonna be going up like armor level, like we're gonna be doing this way, but no, they're pants on head retarded. It was like NPCs all over again.
Well, some of them are NPCs. That's the thing in some servers, but yeah, it's odd because like you expect it to be as hardcore as Arma, and it's not, but it's more the tactics that make it hardcore. Like, you can't just run around and do shit, and it's not even built that way, because it's like it's more like a free-floating aim kind of style, where it's like where your gun is and where your head is kind of shifts your body instead of being on a crosshair. But it's an interesting game, because I think that's one of the few games that really it does have a smaller player base over time, but it knows how to pull the player base in, so they keep coming back and playing it. So like there'll be players that have like only like 20 hours, but then there'll be ones that have like 200, 300, because it's just so fun for them.
Speaking of Tripwire, I got new news. I have news. Killing Floor 2 just released a new devlog, and oh my god, people who like gun porn are gonna be happy as shit.
Oh, what's in it? I heard about that, but I didn't get to watch it yet, and I'm so fucking psyched for Killing Floor 2.
Okay, so the animations for the guns are 200 frames per second. When you go into Z mode, you see it. So you get to see the entire gun shake and wobble while you fire the thing. Oh my god, I was like, I want this game now.
I know they're saying like they did it in a bunch of frames per second. I was like, whoa, holy shit, that's something so niche that I'm never going to appreciate. But then you actually play it, and you see it in slow motion, and it just looks so cool. I don't know what it is about me and guns and games, but they're just so fun to use. When they're done right. When they're done shitty, they're not fun to use, of course.
This is probably the kind of game. What did I do when I played the first one? I started listening to heavy metal. I'm just flashing zombies. Oh yeah, that was kind of fun. And melee weapons.
It is one of those games where it's just like the soundtrack's really good. Like it's one of those games when you're done playing, you can bring up on YouTube and just listen to the soundtrack. Unlike some games, which is just like the soundtrack's kind of eh. But this, they do a pretty good job, and the guns too. Like they do so much research on making sure the guns look realistic.
And they're fun to use.
Yeah.
I was the hype. It's real. I wanted it so bad.
I'm just like, all I'm thinking is like when they did Red Orchestra 2, like not just did they go out to the field to like try the guns, but like they hyped up the fact that the game had like your machine guns would fire differently based on if it was cold or if it was summer, and I was like, holy shit, they really did their research. And then you look at this stuff and it's just so detailed, and you can tell like they literally sat down with the guns.
The way the perk system works now is you can actually have like specific, like smaller perks. And so, like, for instance, the reload animation, quicker reloads, you actually reload differently with that perk on than you do without it.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Because I hated that about Call of Duty, though. It's just like, oh, you move super fast. It's like, okay, no one realistically, like, moves that fast when they're reloading a damn gun.
Except Dirty Harry.
That's true, but there's no Dirty Harry multiplayer games yet, unfortunately.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious.
Remember when it was on PlayStation 3, there was going to be a Dirty Harry game that was canceled.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forget what happened. It was going to be, like, pretty close after it got released. It was going to be, like, a Dirty Harry action game or something. It just never happened.
That's very disappointing.
Yeah. But, I mean, we got Killing Floor 2, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Same. I thought it was going to be on early access by now, actually, so I'm really, really hyped up.
Are they going to make it early access, or is it going to be a full release?
Yes, it's gonna start in early access, but it's gonna be a lot more like what's
The
the best
good
way to
ones.
describe it? It's gonna be like kind of the Don't Starve system, where it's like it's gonna start very, very bare bones, and like they're gonna add things over time, and things are definitely gonna change. Like they warn people, the game that you play on early access is not gonna be the same as the final version because they're gonna change so much. It's almost like with Company of Heroes too. Not to get too tangential, but during the beta for Company of Heroes, it was like you used artillery, it killed all your enemy's troops, and then they nerfed that and they changed things, and the gameplay totally changed. So it's gonna be like the same kind of thing. They're gonna change a real lot in the process.
I'm just so excited.
It looks so good, and it's going all across Europe too. It's not just like France. Although I wouldn't mind just staying in France because I don't really like France that much.
I think you mean like when you say developer log, you mean like the YouTube video? Like, was it like a vlog?
Yeah, it's like a vlog thing, and they show gameplay footage and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
actually trying to look at it right now.
One of the heads of the studios was, I think, like a 40-year-old guy, and I'm like, well, what I was like imagining, like, what does it have to be like the nephew of this guy? It's like, so what does your uncle do? My uncle develops awesome zombie gameplay where you shoot zombies and they just explode. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is a pretty good job. Not to mention, like, if you're family members with people on the team, you usually get access to early things like alphas. So, I mean, you know, be the nephew. Get to play Killing Floor 2 early. It's pretty cool.
Oh my god, I want it so bad. I've sank so many hours in the Killing Floor. There's a strange brutality to it that just
That, and it's like, it's not just you alone, it's like you with friends, and you with friends dicking around in Killing Floor. So there's just, it's so good, because it'll be like your one friend's like doing the melee only thing, because like they're being a dumbass, and like they think they can do it, but they can't. So you're like yelling at them, like, no, don't do that shit, man. Everyone's got to run in and save them, and like shit posting over on the mic, like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done this, I didn't know how to do it, and everyone's screaming, and like everyone's freaking out, but they're having a lot of fun saving each other. Like, it's just so tight knit and fun to do, and the community's pretty friendly too, and it's so friendly, but it's so fucking brutal. Like, it's crazy violence. Like, I didn't know heads could explode that way. I didn't know body parts did that thing. That thing's missing eyes. Couldn't tell. I was too busy killing it. So it's like there's all this stuff going on at once, and they're really up in the gore of this too. So it's like it's so viscerally detailed.
So the way you just said that reminded me of like Hot Fuzz. Was like the quote where one of the was like the police instructor, and one of the police officers asked him, like, is it true that there's a place in the human head that if you shoot it, the head explodes? Go watch that movie, it's awesome.
I forgot. I think I was channeling a little bit of that. But yeah, it's just like, it's just so cool looking. Like, they caught that feel perfectly. And they weren't the original developers of Killing Floor either. I think, if I recall correctly, what happened was they either acquired the original mods or they were kind of commissioned to do it. So there's the original, like, Unreal Killing Floor, and then Tripwire did it, and they made it in their own vision for what they would have liked to see. Because Tripwire originally started with Red Orchestra, like, that was their thing. They're all really into the World War II realism stuff, and they just pushed out this really awesome action co-op survival horror game. Like, it's just so cool. They can do so many things, that development team. I just really love Tripwire.
Yeah, I can see. You love Tripwire, Swilly loves Killing Floor. And I love playing video games when the servers are working. When they're not working, we don't get to play GTA 5 and its heists. Which have been delayed multiple times, like the PC release that has been delayed multiple times. Thank you, Rockstar. If this port isn't, I'm repeating myself here, but if this port isn't decent, I'm going to come and get you, and going to get Nazi on your ass.
It's like...
It's not that far. They're in the UK.
Oh, okay. I thought they're developing in the US.
You'll be safe. You'll be safe. Everything's fine for you.
That's good. That's great. It's just... I can't believe it, too, because I thought it was supposed to be out, like, late January, and I thought I had missed it to play it, and now I keep on remembering that. It just keeps getting pushed. Like, and they already have a bad track record of optimizing stuff, too, on PC, so...
I like how the update on old consoles is like 1.5 gigabytes, and on the current gen consoles it's 4.7 along those lines. And yeah, it's like, how do you wait? Isn't like most of that? Isn't that just mechanics? Like I understand if most of the code is or if most of the files are just graphics, but I really can't imagine that would be the case. But maybe this update is bigger than I thought. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Some companies have a really good time kind of pushing out updates with very kind of neatly packaged graphics updates. Others just like they literally throw it up raw and put it on Steam. Like, I hate to bring up Tripwire again, but that was actually one of the problems they had with Red Orchestra. Every update was like 2 or 3 gigabytes big, which is a big problem if you have a slower internet. So it's like some companies do have a really good job of making their patches neat. Like Valve does a pretty good job of that. Others, it's just like they throw up a 5 gigabyte patch and expect everyone to download it. It's kind of cruel because not everyone has that fast of an internet.
Yeah, true.
So it stinks. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like the heist stuff does look really cool, but for me, GTA really is the pull single player, not necessarily online.
Okay. Well, when I completed single player, I was expecting like multiplayer to be a bit better. I still remember GTA 4 multiplayer, which was like, well, you can play team deathmatch or you can play team roaming, like roam just around the map. And I always liked roaming more because you could do just whatever the hell you wanted to do. And I'm looking at some YouTube videos right now. I still have my copy for PS3. I'm not ever going to touch a game on PS3 again. I'm going to wait for it to come out on PC. Then that's when I'll be trying out those heists. But I have expectations that are a bit high. So I hope.
I don't even have to admit, man. Like I've said in the past, I don't care for any of the 4K first-person shit. I don't give a shit. It's not a good game, it's not a good game. And you know what? It's going to be like every other GTA. It's going to be goofy for the first week, and then you're like, oh, I've done this before, and you walk away.
Yeah.
Wait for GTA 5?
Yeah. It's going to be the same. It's not like Saints Row, where they're like, you know what? Let's avoid doing the same thing over and over again. Let's make it crazier with each installment. So, GTA just follows the same pattern of, here's, have an RPG, go slaughter NPCs.
But those mods, though, man, those mods.
What mods?
Yeah.
Wait, have you seen the no friction mod for GTA 4?
Oh, okay, those mods, the ones that edit the configs. We don't even know if that'll be possible.
I'm pretty sure it will be. Just give us some time. We'll figure out how to do it. But that one's so funny. It's like you can play as Woody too. So you're like Woody running around looking like an idiot, and there's cars all over the place. You're hitting people and exploding. Like you'll have a giant bus like going down the street, sliding. People are just walking around with their coffee. Then suddenly, a police car falls down from the sky out of nowhere and hits them. It looks so funny.
Sounds legit. Well, at least if the servers are working. I remember at the start of the update. Some people on Twitter were like, "Well, let's try to play. I'll try to play this now." And there's like a Twitch live stream that goes on, which is called Rocket Beans. They were like, "Well, we'll like at the first day, we'll try to stream some at like 6 p.m." And I was like, "No, that's not going to happen. Like, servers are going to get bombed harder than your average Middle East country. No, thank you. That's not going to happen." Welcome to 2000, whatever, where servers don't work. What the hell is that YouTube video?
Yeah, I don't know. It's it stinks too. Again, it's going back to the online DRM stuff too, to a certain extent. It's just when games are too reliant on like the one parent company supplying things, and there's so much traffic and demand, it's just always a recipe for a disaster or a mistake to happen.
I think Titanfall's PC release was actually quite alright.
Yeah, I think so. I remember that. But it did have kind of a big release too. Now that I think of it, it was really hyped up at the time.
Yeah. Right. Let's talk about Uncharted. Did any one of you play Uncharted? Play any Uncharted game?
No. I played multiplayer for like a few minutes. It was pretty cool. It had no story at all. It was
Well,
pretty.
what is this going to get boring? Because it's going to be me talking the entire time. I'll try to like make it short.
I had like a 10-minute rant about Killing Floor, so you can go ahead and do Uncharted. I can get into that.
But okay.
Uncharted? Oh, I'm so excited for the single player.
Here we go.
No, you don't understand. I know everyone had issues with 3, but I still thought 3 was fucking awesome.
It was rushed. It was rushed. I remember finishing the game, and afterwards I was like, wait a second. That end didn't really feel like it was good. It all came together. It felt like a bit rushed. And then a few weeks later, I saw an interview with I think the developer of Uncharted 3, and he was like, the biggest mistake we made for Uncharted 3 was announcing a release date. And afterwards, I couldn't push it back. So I don't know. Uncharted 1 was okay. Uncharted 2 was brilliant. Uncharted 3 was good. But I'll hope that they make up for.
I'm so excited. I don't even have a PS4.
I love Nathan Drake.
I'm excited.
I feel like too, Naughty Dog did a really good job of transitioning from more of a platformer kind of feel, or a little bit of an edgy platformer, to doing the Uncharted games. They did work really well in the end, I think. I didn't play a lot of them, but I mean, from what I've seen, the gameplay has been pretty solid, and it does capture like pretty good story, pretty good characterization. Yes. So it's pretty interesting. They're able to make that switch.
I'm so excited!
If you want to make a cinematic experience, Uncharted 2 is the way to go. Like when you finish a game and when you have like the final scene happening, and I won't spoil it, but if you see like the final scene and the credits start to roll, you know when you're when you're sitting on your couch and like going like, oh man, I wish this would go on for a bit longer, and that's kind of the same feeling you have when you watch a good movie. Yeah, you know that this is a cinematic experience.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my
it's
god!
It's been late to 2016. There we go. Ruined your day.
Wait, I just saw in the chat the thing that Swilly posted with the horse running around with a bat.
Anyway, going off topic again. Let's. The tiger. What are we missing? Titanfall and
You Solid 5.
Hotline Miami 2.
Oh, let's talk more about that game.
I haven't bought it. But plan on playing it until.
You gotta play it. You gotta play it. It's so good.
I'll play it at some point, like I did with the first one.
Uber, you played a little bit of it so far, right?
Yeah. I agree with a lot of people who are criticizing for the areas to be too big and bait and switch to be a way too common tactic to solve most of the levels. And yeah. That's like the biggest criticism I heard every now and then. But the game itself, still, if you like unlock different characters, you'll notice that the gameplay really varies heavily from depending on which character you choose. And the soundtrack is there. The soundtrack is awesome. I'm seriously considering just getting it as a DLC right now, because I was listening to this game to the soundtrack yesterday for a very long time, because I died in this one level way too many times, and I think I've been stuck in that level for like half an hour. And at the end of like when I finished it, I was like banging my head in rhythm to the song because the song was so good. Yeah, so the sound is good. The whole atmosphere is your typical Hotline Miami atmosphere, which feels kind of like a drug trip into Clockwork Orange, where you have a lot of ultra violence bashing people's heads in, and yes, and as some people might suggest, no, you don't. The point of the game is you don't play this game to just have fun killing people. I'm not looking at anyone specific here because that's another topic for another day. But the game is actually a bit more heavy than that. And there's a lot more to the game than it might seem at the first look.
Yeah, I've only gotten through the first or second act, but I was actually pleasantly surprised in the narrative direction it took, because there's a lot more kind of voices you hear from during the game, at least in the first 2 acts I've played so far. And you do get to see a wider kind of picture of what Miami's like during this time period that the narrative is supposed to take place in. It is. I thought it was interesting too, the kind of gameplay direction they took with it. There's different kind of masks you can take, and the masks are not. Some of the kind of abilities you get aren't as simple as they were in the first game. For instance, I really liked the first somersault ability is pretty cool, and the killing throws one is pretty cool too. I think that's with Jake the snake.
The snake, yeah.
I just realized that it rhymes. I was doing
rule.
Agreed.
And I was doing that play too, that level last night, and I just realized how satisfying it feels to like throw a bat, then throw a shotgun, then throw a pipe, or reuse one of those things to do throws, and like just getting kills with that thing and not needing to run over and do an execution either. So it's very the direction they took with it was very good. Although I agree they do like a little bit too much bait and switch kind of tactics for levels, and I didn't feel like I was experimenting enough with learning how to do kills. They're kind of a little bit easier to figure out. That said, though, the actual kills themselves and the executions are really good. I heard one or two people call it the most violent game they've played so far. It does get like pretty intense.
Yeah, there's this pretty early days. I don't even think it's like a cutscene related kill. It's like where somebody's laying on the ground and you grab like his head and the character just pulls out the head along with the spine right of the body.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, that's one of the SWAT ones. It's like when you're playing as the pigman actor in the film. You just straddle his like chest and you pull his head and spinal cord straight out of him. It looks so graphic, and you like literally grabs the guy's head and yanks it off. There's blood all over the place, and like throws it away. And I think like the cops can get beheaded in the film too. So it's like it's really pretty intense, but they it doesn't hold back at all. It's really quite good. And that soundtrack too is great, by the way.
Of course, the soundtrack is great. It's all synthwave.
Yeah, that's the point, man. It sounds so good. I've been listening to it actually for months because it started getting revealed what the soundtrack was, so I started listening to it ahead of time. So I actually recognize all the songs that play now, but it still feels refreshing because they use it so well.
Actually, let me see. Oh wait, the soundtrack is like €15. That's something along the lines of $20. Wow. Okay,
Really?
that's a bit more than I expected. I mean, you get about 49 tracks, so I guess.
Oh, well, that's pretty good. Like 15 tracks for 20.
If
and
you
also
like,
a lot of the
album price.
Yeah, and a lot of the artists they use too are kind of more like independent artists too. Like Son of Raw they used in the first Hotline Miami. That guy doesn't even publish like his music through. He doesn't even print his music anymore, and he just does a lot of live shows and stuff too. It's, it's pretty interesting.
There are more tracks from Jasper. I just hope I pronounce his name right. Jasper Bine.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like the developer of Lone Survivor, which is another great game.
I didn't realize that. Yeah. But yeah, his music's really good too.
Yeah, there's if you don't know Lone Survivor, it's like a 2D Silent Hill, basically.
I've been meaning to play it. I got it. It seemed really good, but I didn't realize again that they were probably close enough to do work together for that stuff. That's pretty cool.
It's kind of like Hotline Miami, where you have a lot of mind games.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's yeah. I mean, that's a horror game, and in some way, Hotline Miami is a horror game as well. It
is, yeah.
You may think that you enjoy killing people in Hotline Miami, but there'll be points. Like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there'll be points in Hotline Miami too where like, okay, now I'm kind of freaked out about myself here. Thank you.
Yeah, like I kind of want to get off of this ride for now. So yeah, I know what you mean too. The Hotline Miami 1 had those points too, especially for a lot of the executions. There are like certain moments when you're doing executions that it just felt so over the top and felt so gruesome that you kind of wanted to stop and walk away. But you also felt like you couldn't because you want to know what happened next and you want to go on to the next level. So they do a really good job of hitting that balance, like creeping you out but making you want to do more, but also kind of feeling a little guilty for trying to do that at the same time.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's like one particular level that's like on a boat. And you go in from one side, and well, there's so many fogs in that level. in that area specifically. Like if you shoot, there'll instantly be like 5 or 6 people coming for you, and it'll be so hard. I mean, if you don't have like when I entered that area, I had a shotgun, so it was kind of fine. So the first thing I did was like I just shot to get their attention, to make them run towards me, and I just like stayed at the corner, shot them. Then when I was like reloading, I just stayed beside the corner and I just went back when I could kill them. And that's something like I wouldn't mind doing that every now and then, but I feel like Hotline Miami 2 is forcing you to do that a bit too many times. So that's something that might annoy you. Levels are a bit larger and too many enemies.
It does feel kind of narrow of what it kind of asks you to how to play, so to speak. So I know what you mean.
And yeah, I mean, besides that, the game's like not that much. It's like €15, something like $20, I think.
I think it might even be less than that in the US. It was like $15 when I got it, maybe 13.
Oh man.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth it. I don't know, man. It's all the currency stuff's all crazy. I can't understand anything anymore.
Yeah, but
I'm just glad I'm not paying in rubles. I won't be able to do rubles.
Russian dancing man, we are.
Weebles. Is that Weebles who made the Flash?
I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, Weebles stuff.
They still do stuff too. They were doing
purple hen.
I didn't even know they were still making animated videos too. I thought they like stopped 3 years ago, but like Shmorky did stuff with them just like a few months ago.
Look at my horse is amazing. I still know the lyrics to that song and I don't feel ashamed for it.
Oh man. Weevils, man.
I think we've run out of topics.
We have one more.
Oh, do we?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
One might say we go nuclear.
Nice pun.
Alright, Uber, if I were beside you, you would be stabbed on the floor.
Yes.
Are we talking
Asking
about
why, and all I would say is puns.
Phil actually had something with substance. Repeat that.
Are we talking about DEF CON or what?
What do you mean DEF CON?
You never played. Never mind. It's
Gear Solid.
the Titanfall nuke game.
that one. Yeah, that one. I was like deaf as in
Everyone
like
dies.
actual deaf. Yeah, DEF CON. It's actually named voice successor like DEF CON, like DEATH con.
Yeah. Oh, DEF CON. I get it.
Yeah.
No, it's like
so Metal
Or
Gear
terrible
Solid
name
5.
for a convention.
oh, the DEF CON.
It's just filled with old people and the Reaper.
Oh, jeez.
It's just a series of and then drop the floor.
Who's going to die next? Make bets right now. And that dies the political correctness of this podcast. Thank you. Okay, talking about.
Wait, we had that to begin with.
No.
Wait, what? I think we had a few slip-ups in there somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about Phantom Pain. So.
Yes.
We get that on the 1st of September this year, and there will be a PC. There will be a PS3 release. There will be a PS4 release. There will be a 360 release, and there will be an Xbox One release, and there will only be a Steam digital release because fuck PC people who want to buy the collector's edition. I'm not.
Yes. Yeah. Fuck those
Wait,
guys.
Who
Steam
said-
only. That's awesome.
Okay, right click. Okay, you're both done for. Thank you. I'm honestly considering buying like the collector's edition for the PS4
Again,
and getting
just
the.
like previous games y'all mentioned, I'm not really interested.
Oh man, but it's Metal Gear
Seriously.
Solid.
Seriously,
Dude,
Don't you want to know?
I have never played a Metal Gear Solid game.
that's your problem.
Uber, can you please kick this guy? I'm being serious. Please kick him.
Hey!
Hello, this is the Axis and Allies podcast. We're currently looking for a replacement. If you think you're better than Swilly, contact me right now on Twitter.
No one is better than me, okay?
Only prerequisite: must have played Metal Gear Solid and liked it.
Yes.
I never said I
Even
did.
hating is fine as long as you played it.
Yeah. Fair enough. But yeah, I'm excited for 5 because 5 is going to be so. Well, 5 takes place, I think, late 70s and cuts into the 80s. So there's a lot of different kind of things like So we go to Afghanistan. We get to see child soldiers in Africa. So it's going to cut in those kind of different things. But what's really interesting is the 80s is so deep from Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 lore and cuts into those kind of games and into 4 too. So I'm really interested in what direction Kojima is going to take, because even in the background lore for, like, say, Metal Gear Solid 1 alone, a lot of stuff happened in the 80s that kind of built up into Metal Gear Solid 1. And it was always known that a lot of, like, traumatic and terrible things happened in the 80s, but we never really got to see it or hear it or know about it. We just knew it was always coming. So to know that we're really touching on that now, I think Kojima, like, referenced that this is going to be the darkest of the Metal Gear Solid games so far. He kind of always says that anyway, but still, it's interesting because there is going to be a lot of different things that this game's going to touch on.
He also said that Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain is going to be the last Metal Gear Solid game, but oh boy, we heard that many times before.
Metal Gear Solid 2 was like going to be the last Metal Gear Solid game.
Oh, that would have been not ending on a high note. By Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes and I feel shameful. What's the PSP game again? Peace Walker.
And Portable Ops got retconned like crazy.
It's like the end of Peace Walker. Like Big Boss slowly starts to like gets morally ambiguous. Like, well, we should have nukes now. It's like, okay, that's pretty tough stuff. You're really sure you want to, like, keep them? And then, like, Ground Zeroes is like, yeah, let's keep them and just hide them when we get a weapons inspection from, like, UN or whatever. And they really have to make the transition from like the kind of Breaking Bad transition where you have a good character becoming bad and make that believable and make that relatable for the audience and for the players. So when he turns evil, it's not like episode 3 of Star Wars where you're like, well, this doesn't make sense. Why is Anakin Skywalker suddenly going like the arguments? What? This doesn't work out. Like, you want to have that in Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain, as well as like you mentioned, there'll be like from the trailers we've seen child soldiers, and if he implements like the scenery and like the aspect of those like heavy topics like soldiers. I keep messing up. If he gets like those heavy topics in it, like child soldiers, and makes that meaningful and deep, then I think Phantom Pain has the potential to be like the best game of the series, even better than like many consider MGS3 to be the best game.
Yeah, I do think I am a little worried because I want to make sure Kojima touches on those things with like a very kind of a light touch and touches on them well, but is careful about them. But I do think at the same time, like, there is going to be either two directions, and that's either going to be seeing Big Boss's transition into kind of a more antagonistic character and like believing it, or maybe altogether in another lens, kind of seeing Big Boss's transition and maybe sympathizing with some of the things that he does. And I'm not sure what directions Kojima is going to go. He might do a little bit of both, and people might be split about Big Boss by the end of 5. But I do think it's going to be interesting because he is diverging from looking at Big Boss as solely a good character trying to fight against the world to really kind of doing things that are not necessarily what the player is going to agree with either, but is still doing them for the game. So it's kind of interesting because Big Boss is getting more kind of a dynamic and complex character, and I really do think at the end of the game they're gonna, or not the end of the game, but throughout the game, they're gonna build to Big Boss being kind of the evil character by suggesting that it's kind of more the international political kind of structure that's forcing Big Boss to make these choices, and it's not fully his fault, although he's responsible for certain things.
I mean, the entire plot is like revenge, so if you want to, like, okay, the end of Ground Zeroes was pretty like heavy, like bad shit was going on, and he got screwed hard by some people. But is that really enough to like keep him to make like his motivation reasonable for the player? So as not like somewhat during like the middle of Phantom Pain, the player's like, well, this doesn't make sense at all. Like, okay, so I get he's like pissed off at the people who betrayed him, but this really doesn't like justify his killing spree of whatever's going on. But yeah, I'm hopeful. I think we'll see more, maybe a bit more footage on E3. So far, if you follow Kojima on Twitter, the only pictures he tweets every time are the ones where Solid Snake is sitting in a helicopter because he doesn't want to spoil anything. So if you look at Kojima's Twitter feed, it's like, 100 pictures of Big Boss sitting in a helicopter. Also, Diamond Dog. It's like Dee. I'm hyped.
Yeah, Dee.
I love that dog. I love dogs in general. Like this, the moment I saw Diamond Dog, I just agree with one of the comments in the YouTube video. It's like, if Kojima, if you let this dog die, I'm going to find out where you live. I'm going to like get really angry with you. It's like,
Kill the dog.
Just,
Do you want to?
yeah, but you see him as like a tiny pup, and he's just looking at you like. And if you compare the image,
You know you're gonna kill it. You know either you or someone is gonna kill that dog. It's an adorable puppy. It's going to die.
No.
What if the puppy becomes Solid Snake? You never really know. Total wreck.
They used like a scenery from The Lion King, where he's like holding the dog in a way the Simba's hold in The Lion King. You could see like the similarities from that scene, and yeah, if please don't let that dog die, thank you.
I think now we've exhausted topics.
I think we've gotten everything.
Yeah. So Swilly.
Yes.
You'll get the final word.
I don't care about the VR. I don't care about Hotline Miami 2. I don't care about Valve doing things. I don't care about Max's closing. I don't care about the only thing I care about is the delicious destruction of Killing Floor 2. That's the final word.
Well played. Ladies and gents, this has been the Access and Allies podcast. We're looking forward to Killing Floor 2. Thank you very much and good night.